Hi folks, you have clicked on my guitar lesson for Something by the Beatles. Welcome to my series on how to play great songs. Today, I hope to teach you something by the Beatles. Okay, the intro to this has two guitar parts, which unfortunately you can only play one at a time. You need a lead person to do the signature intro lead part that sort of identifies the hook of this song. The one that goes. It sounds better when you have a lead guitar doing that, and then you have a accompanying guitar, the rhythm guitar, doing the support chords behind that, which sounds like this. So for this lesson, I'll be focusing mostly on the rhythm guitar part. But as a bonus, I'll throw in how you can do this lick. You can teach your other guitar player to do this lick. Or if you want to do this in a multi-track. It's start on the second string. In fact, it's all on the second string. 12th fret. So that's a B note on the 12th fret of the second string, and you bend it up to C. First you hit the B note, and then you bend it up to C, bend it up to this, and then bend it back down, and then it goes 10, 11, 12, 13. Ends up on the C. That's the key of the song. So start on the 12th, bend it up half a step, and then 10, 11, 12, 13. Unfortunately, that's all the lead you're going to get as a part of this lesson, because the rest is going to focus on the rhythm guitar. So the chords behind that intro are, first you start with an F. Bar the first fret and play the F chord. And then it jumps up to 6th fret, E flat. So the root note is going to be on the 5th string, the 6th fret, that's E flat, just a bar chord there. You strum that once. And then for the next beat, you drop down to barring the 3rd fret, playing the G chord, or a G7. I play the G7 chord. So G flat, or excuse me, E flat to G7, and then a C, and that starts the main verse of the song. And we'll be revisiting that transition throughout the song. So basically it's this: 2 beats on F, E flat, G7, C. And I always like to play C with this 4-finger version where you're pressing down the 3rd fret of the 6th string. But for this particular song, you really can't do that. You got to start with just 3 fingers on the C and leaving your pinky open for the shapes that follow. But for the first 4 beats of the verse, it's just a C major. And then you switch to C major 7. Take your index finger off the 2nd string and play C major 7. Then you put your fingers back on for a C7, a C blues 7. So that chord shape from strings 1 through 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The frets are 0, 1, 3, 2, 3. That's a basic C7 shape. And you hold that for 4 beats. And then it's F. Bar the 1st fret, play F chord. And the the F chord then goes to a D chord for 4 beats. So in the transition between F and D, the bass line follows a little passing chord there of E in between, or an E minor in between. You just you play 3 beats on the F, and then you can kind of incorporate a bass line there where you pull off the 1st fret on the 6th string and just play the open E bass note before going to the D chord. And as is the case with a lot of Beatles songs, Paul's bass is really essential to the melody of the song, and incorporating different passing chords like that, and there's be other points in this song that I'll show you later, it's really essential to be able to incorporate Paul's bass line, because it does carry the melody for key moments of the song. And this is one of them. It's like a passing chord between F and D. You briefly stop on the E, or if you want to do a full E minor there, that's up to you. It'll sound like this: F, then E minor, and D. You can do it like that, but that seems a little bit over exaggerated for me. I usually just focus on the bass note here and just pull off from F to E and then D. Just do it how you want, but that's the basic gist of it. And so after D for 4 beats, then you go to G for 4 beats. 2, 3, 4. Now this is another part where the bass line is kind of key, and you can incorporate that in a rhythm guitar strum just by starting with a G, and the bass note is going to be the 3rd fret on the 6th string, and then you can play open A string on the 2nd beat, and then 2nd fret 5th string, the B, on the 3rd beat, and then the 4th beat back down to the bass note of G, which is 3rd fret on C, or I'm sorry, 3rd fret on the 6th string. So the bass line will go just the G major scale. G, A, B, G. And it does that for the 4 beats of the G there. And if you want to incorporate that into rhythm guitar, you can strum in between each of those bass notes. Kind of like that. That's a good way to incorporate Paul's bass line that really carries the melody for that part. It gives it a nice flavor. And then your next chord is going to be A minor. And you have to resist the temptation of going to your root position A minor, because that's not where it's played. Based on the shapes that follow, it's necessary to go up to the 5th fret and play the bar chord A minor. So play the bar chord A minor on the 5th fret for 2 beats. And the next change is a walk down on the 4th string. The 4th string goes from 7th fret to 6th fret, while the rest of the chord stays the same. You keep the basic A minor shape, goes from A minor to adding 4th string 6th fret. That is the A major 7th note. It's added to a basic A minor shape, but it's like adding a major 7th to the A minor. So I don't know how you even name that chord. It's A minor add A major 7th note. And then the next chord continues to walk down on the 4th string down to the 5th fret, and that is a basic A minor 7th shape. And then the next shape, you keep the bar on the 5th fret, but here you're doing a D7 for the 4th chord. And that's where the root note is on the 5th string, 5th fret, and you're playing a D7. So that whole sequence goes A minor for 2 beats, A minor with the major 7 added for 2 beats, and then A minor 7 regular for 2 beats, and then D7 for 2 beats. And from there, you execute the intro, which serves as a transition back into the verse again, which is where you go after the first verse. After the first verse is done, you transition, just like the intro, E flat, G7, C. So that part again is F, E flat, G7 to C, and you're doing the second verse now. C major 7, C7 blues to F, E in the bass, D to G, A minor and major 7, A minor 7, D7, transition, F to E flat, G7. And right here, after the second verse, instead of going to C, we're doing the bridge at this point. So you hit the A. You change keys at the bridge part, and you start it with an A major, just an A major in the regular position, open position. So, coming from the transition out of the second verse, it'll sound like this. 2, 3, 4. And now, this part of the bridge where you start with A for 2 beats, then A major 7 for 2 beats. A major 7 is starting from strings 1 through 5. It's 0, 2, 1, 2, 0. 1 through 5 is 0, 2, 1, 2, 0. That's the A major 7th shape. So it goes from A major to A major 7th for 2, and then F sharp minor for 4 beats, and then D, G, back to A major for 2, 3, and 4. We'll go through that again. It's A major 7th, F sharp minor for 4, and then D, and the G kind of comes in on the offbeat there. You just have to know the rhythm of the song. It's like okay, so that's the end of the bridge. And when you come out of the bridge into the next verse, which is the guitar solo verse, instead of going D, G, A, which is what you do in the middle of the bridge part, at the end of the bridge you go D, G, and then C. And here's another part where the bass line takes over. First you hit the full C, and then you follow the bass run, which goes down at that point from C. The root of the C chord, 3rd fret, 5th string. So on the 5th string it's 3, 2, 0. It follows the C major scale down from C, C, B, A. That's all on the 5th string. And then on the 6th string it's G, F, E. That's 3, 1, and then 0. So the bass line walk down that goes right there is 3, 2, 0 on the 5th string, 3, 1, 0 on the 6th string. And it goes in a rhythm like this. On the first note, you're hitting the full C chord, and then you walk down with this rhythm. And then you're back into the verse, which after the bridge, the one and only time that the bridge occurs in the song, you follow that with the instrumental verse where the guitar solo takes off. And every chord is the same as the singing part. Coming out of the bridge, it goes like D, G, then C. You're in the guitar solo now. Just as the same as the regular verses. D7. So that transition, just like the transition that occurs after the first verse leading into the second verse, you go from the guitar solo to the third verse of singing. C7 right there. After you're coming out of the third verse, you hit the transition lick. And right there, you do the transition like you're going into the bridge. First, you do a transition that leads you into A, which is like the bridge transition. And you hold that 2, 3, and 4, and then do it again. F, E flat, G7, C. Then you're finally back to your root chord of the key of C. So that's how the ending goes. You transition like you're going into the bridge, but you don't go into the bridge, you do it again. And this time you end on C. So that's how something goes. I hope that makes sense to you. And thanks for watching. See you next time. Okay, good luck playing this wonderful Beatles song. And thanks for tuning in to my series of how to play great songs. I hope you learned something by the Beatles.